I'm sure everyone who's seen any of the Matrix movies remembers the trails that bullets left as they flew through the air. Here I will show you how to recreate that effect in true space, as you saw it in South Park Reloaded. We first have to create our bullet, which starts out as a combination of a cylinder and a sphere. Right-click on the Object tool to see the properties. Here we will be modifying it to a nice integer value, so we can use Boolean union on these two objects to form our bullet. When done, use normalize location on both of them, and that way you can center them on your workspace. We now need to resize them accordingly to the approximate size of a bullet. We lengthen the sphere a little, and make sure that roughly half of it sticks up above the cylinder. Once you feel that the general shape of the bullet is about done, go ahead and use the Boolean union tool to join them as one object. For now, I'm going to size the bullet down a little and move it just out of the way vertically, so that we can create the trail that the bullet will leave behind. The trails that you saw in the animation are actually very easy to create. As you can see here, simply create a circle on the workspace and left-click on one of the Boolean tools to turn it into a polygon. All that needs to be done now is to take the circle and make several copies of it. Each time you make a copy of the circle, be sure to move it either up or down, and also to change its size slightly. This way, you give the rings that form up the trails a nice random-looking appearance. Make as many copies of the rings as you want. About a half dozen or so are usually enough for a nice effect. The effect is enhanced if you try to make the rings all different from one another. This gives the appearance of random turbulence as the bullet flies through the air. Now just use the glue as siblings command and glue all the rings together like this. By making copies of these joined rings, now you can increase the size of the trail as much as you need it very quickly. Be sure though not to make too many copies. If the bullet isn't going to be traveling a long distance, it isn't really needed. This way, you can keep the polygon count down. When you have enough, glue them all together to form the entire trail. Now we have a full bullet trail. In order to make the animation of this object a little easier, we're going to move the axes from the center of the object down to the bottom. This will make the rings appear as though they are expanding from the origin. Turn on one of the semi-transparent modes and bring up the material editor. Now color the bullet any dark shade. You can choose to give it a shiny look too, which is what I did for some of the scenes. For the rings that represent the bullet trails, modify the transparency of the shader to around 33% like this. Also, be sure to choose a lighter shade. We don't want the trails to be black. This will give the trail a nice see-through look. You can drag and drop the color like we've done before, or you can use the Paint Object tool to quickly color all the rings. Now for the animation, we switch to solid drawing mode. Be sure that the bullet is glued to the trail, so they move as one should you need to move the entire thing around. You can navigate the hierarchy using the up and down arrows on your keyboard like this. This saves time because you don't have to click move up or the move down buttons. We'll move the bullet down here, and we'll also adjust the trail to match. Now, the animation can be easily made by changing the current frame number in the top left-hand corner. We modify it to 30, which represents 1 second of time in most video formats. We move the bullet up, and then we change the size of the trail to match, also making sure that it's frame 30 for the trail. Once both the trail and the bullet have had their keyframes set, click play to view the animation.